people are having a lot of issues right now with cash flow, with interest rates and things like that. So what ADUs and these secondary, tertiary units is strictly a modality to get additional density that can increase cash flow and increase property value in order to make something work that may not have otherwise. So depending on the market you're in, obviously some are a little more friendly than others, but there's normally some sort of option for you there. And being able to look at that and figure out how you finance it, and if it's something that makes sense for you, can make you significantly more likely to get into a deal that you may have otherwise not been able to.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Investor Fuel podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Kesil, and today I'm joined by someone I've been looking forward to chatting with, Brian Koons, who's been making serious moves in the real estate development space. So really excited to have you here with us, Brian. I think our listeners are really going to take something away from how you're approaching the development business. So let's dive in.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Michelle.
Absolutely. So first off, for people who may not be familiar with you and your world, just give us the short version of what your main focus is these days.
Yeah, so I focus on small urban infill development and ADUs as a modality. So ADUs are accessory dwelling units, which is essentially a tiny home or some sort of second structure on a house. However, it's not just one. It can, I'm doing one actively that's 11 units. There's people doing ones that are much larger than that. So it's really essentially a function to add more density to existing properties and take advantage of the need for housing to add more density to existing properties and leveraging that as an entire real estate strategy.
Nice. And what markets are you operating in?
Yeah, so I'm in San Diego is my market where I invest in. However, Southern California is the area that I've been able to service from just the perspective of teaching people, and all the way up to Northern California now. So pretty much all of California, I'm pretty extensively well-versed in.
Amazing. So, yeah, can you share a little bit more about how you develop these properties and like what your process looks like?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So the way that the process works for developing a property is pretty much the same whether you're doing 1 unit or you're doing 30 units. It's a process called feasibility, design, permit, build is what I look at. So feasibility is a process where you're taking a look at the actual property itself and saying, can I build something here from the perspective of am I allowed based on the rules that the city's put forward? And then secondarily, is it physically feasible? Is there enough room for me to do it? Is there any obstructions in the way? Things like that. And then from there, you have to make sure it's financially feasible. So even though you can build something, you need to make sure that it makes sense to actually build it and you can actually get it financed, because if you can't get it financed, it doesn't get built. From there, you determine the physical and financial feasibility, and then you move to the next stage where you're actually drawing what you want to build. So you get a designer or an architect, all the people involved, you draw exactly what you want to build, and then from there, you get it sent to the city and ask, can I build this? You ask to get it permitted to build. They will permit it for you after a pretty extensive back and forth. And then from there, you're able to build it out, lease it up, live in it, whatever the end use is for it.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
So are you primarily helping people who already own these homes and are just looking to add more value to them?
Yeah, so it's actually a mix. So a lot of people that I talk to they have an existing house and they're saying, hey, what can I put on this? And then there's other people that are saying, hey, I know that the ADU or small urban infill space makes sense financially. I would like to get into it. So can you help me look for a property for it? And I had a very unique opportunity to work with a lot of people in pretty much all aspects of it because I was a developer myself while also working at a company that had over 500 projects that I'd say about half of them were homeowner, half of them were investor style people. And I was working with both of them from every perspective of day one, deciding they want to look at it once they actually had a deal that they were looking at buying, or it was something that they've owned for 20 years and they're looking to maximize the space now. So it's been a mix.
Okay, amazing. Yeah, a lot of the listeners here are investors that are maybe just starting or looking to level up. So maybe how can this be something supportive for them if they haven't looked into this side?
Yeah, it's a really good question. And it's something where it doesn't really matter where they are at location-wise in the country because ADUs are expanding to pretty much every market. So places it started in Seattle, California was super forward thinking. They're now in Florida, Texas, Colorado. All of these places have generally some opportunity to add some sort of secondary or tertiary unit to a property. So what I've learned is people are having a lot of issues right now with cash flow, with interest rates and things like that. So what ADUs and these secondary, tertiary units are is strictly a modality to get additional density that can increase cash flow and increase property value in order to make something work that may not have otherwise. So depending on the market you're in, obviously some are a little more friendly than others, but there's normally some sort of option for you there. And being able to look at that and figure out how you finance it, and if it's something that makes sense for you, can make you significantly more likely to get into a deal that you may have otherwise not been able to.
Yeah, absolutely. So what has been like the key to keeping this business running smoothly?
Yeah, this is a great question. So keeping an ADU business running smoothly is a feat for sure. For several different reasons. I worked at a company that was a design and permitting company, and now I focus more so on just strictly being the developer. So I actually hire out each role, so the designer, the contractor, everyone involved, because I've learned that by being the developer, not one specific piece of the development lifecycle, you are able to, similarly to like an escrow company where you're kind of in the middle and just coordinating everyone. If somebody is not the right person or the right fit for yours, you're not tied to them for the project. You can fire them, you can hire somebody else, etc. And so that's an incredibly powerful way to look at a project, right? So it's like being the developer and just managing the people is really the best way that I've seen to kind of grow and be efficient with getting these projects to the finish line.
Yeah, absolutely. How did you get into this development space?
It's a good question. So I did 8 years in the military, and near the end of those 8 years, at about year 6, I bought a 4-unit property in San Diego with my VA loan. And that VA loan was one that I used, essentially maxed out my debt to income ratio. And luckily, because it was a VA loan, I didn't put any money down, but I couldn't qualify for anything else. So I had some money saved up that I didn't put down, but I couldn't qualify. So the only logical explanation was to buy vacant land for me. Found 2 partners just through real estate networking events and things like that. We bought some land in San Diego, And the month that we went into escrow, we expected to put 4 units on the property, but because of the zoning changes and these rules that changed in the city with ADUs, we were able to put 8 units on that property.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
And this was right at the start of COVID as well. So being able to double the unit count and COVID just raising all ships that were floating, the property value went up significantly. So I got really excited about ADUs because I saw how much value it could add. And then we were able to sell that, just the land, and get into a couple more deals and started to get my feet wet with renovations and things like that, and got into some other house hacks and started working at this company. And it really is something I just fell in love with from day one. I felt like a Jehovah's Witness trying to preach the gospel to people talking about ADUs at the time. And it's funny now because any meetup I go to, it's hard not to just hear people on the side talking about ADUs because it's so trendy now. So it was something I saw the wave. It made sense to me. And I was like, this is the niche of San Diego. And this is, and I believed in it. And since then I've been in it, all day long doing the thing.
Amazing. Love that story. Now, every operator I know had a moment where things got more real in their business. Maybe a deal went sideways, or you just had to make a fast pivot. Do you mind sharing an experience like that for you?
Oh man, there's so many times where I got all the learning lessons through the School of Hard Knocks. So I'll give you 2. First one was when I got into my house hack. So this isn't even real estate development, so it's more just the broad investor. I inherited tenants, and one of the tenants was, I inherited them. They were fine for several months, so I actually renewed the lease with them. And then right afterward, their roommate said that they were using drugs, and it kind of forced me to be in a position where a lot of things happened, and essentially ended up evicting them. I went through about $25,000 of lost rents and renovations on the property that was brand new when they moved in like 6 months prior. So went through a lot of that. They were housing homeless people as I was living in one unit because it was a house hack, and got to experience that. And the biggest learning lesson from it was just to make sure that you screen your tenants properly. If you inherit tenants, you bake in the risk associated with that. And it's something that, make sure that they meet your standards as much as you can. So that was one right in the beginning. That was the first 6 months that I owned a property. And then another one was a development project we were doing that was, actually it was from the land. We went from just permitting vacant land to renovating 3 properties across 13 different units at the same time. And I found out very quickly how important ensuring you have the proper cash flows and cash reserves is to a project. So we started too many renovations at the same time. We were having issues with the lender at the same time. And it forced us to be in this very hard position where we were constantly trying to argue with the lender to get a draw, so more money for the project. We were trying to pay all of the contractors. They were doing shoddy work because they weren't getting paid well. So all the projects were we were managing money, not managing projects. And that the projects were actually not getting done as well as they could have because inherently the contractors weren't doing as quality of work because they weren't getting paid as well. So doing less projects to ensure you have the proper cash reserves rather than just seeing how many you can get into is another really big learning lesson that cost us a little bit of money, but got a lot of School of Hard Knocks from it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the kind of stuff people don't talk about enough.
Yeah, it was rough. So, but fun nonetheless. I like to share it and let other people kind of know the issues that can come up. But it's as long as you assess it and you factor it in, any deal can work.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me ask you this. What are you most focused on solving or scaling next?
It's a really good question. So my main purpose is helping people understand and execute the real estate development process and skip the learning curve of it, because there's so many things that can happen either because you didn't ask the right question at the right time, or something is just you didn't even know to ask it. So my entire company and job right now is focused around teaching people the process and then helping people execute the process at whatever level of assistance they need with it. Because there's so many homeowners now that can be a real estate developer that don't inherently have the knowledge of real estate development, but because they own the home and because of these new laws, they can access it. So it's helping them avoid the same mistakes that have cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars and so many other people that I've seen cost them the exact same thing.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Yeah, that is so important. So you mentioned that people need to ask the right questions. What are some of those things that people should make sure that they're asking?
Yeah. So great question. So some of the questions, if you're looking at doing an ADU project that you should absolutely ask day one is, can I build it? So that's that physical feasibility stage where if you start a project and you go through and a designer says, yeah, I'll draw this for you. And then they say, oh yeah, I need structural engineering. And you get all of these people to draw things. You're paying $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. You submit to the city. And then the city says, you're not zoned for that, or you're in an overlay that doesn't allow ADUs to be built or something like that. All of a sudden you've just spent 6 months and $25,000 to $35,000 and it's not feasible. So that's one of the first questions. And there's, pervasive questions to that. But the second one is, just because I can build it, does it actually financially make sense for me? So if you have a super steep hillside and you're like, I want to put the ADU all the way in the back, but all of a sudden you're going to need soils, civil engineer. It's going to be twice as expensive because the foundation you're going to have to build is significantly bigger. There's grading issues with the dirt that you have to move. And all of a sudden it makes what could be a $200,000 project, $400,000. It's not going to make financial sense for you. So, and people don't understand that, where they get it drawn and the architect or whoever's drawing it isn't inherently looking at the cost implications of it. So by being able to ask those questions and get both of those answered is, does it make sense to build, or can it be built? And then also, does it make sense to be built? It's going to be significantly less headache throughout the rest of the project.
Yeah, absolutely. And what would be the best scenario for someone to add this ADU into their investment portfolio? What would make that be something that would be attractive to them?
Yeah, so ADUs, like I said, they're getting more and more well known across multiple states and pretty much nationwide. They're starting to become generally adopted. So it really is something where it can make an investment cash flow better if you already own it. So if somebody owns a portfolio and they're saying, hey, interest rates are really high, acquisition prices aren't inherently going to be, or interest rates aren't inherently where we need them to be to make pricing work to buy something. Let's take a look at our existing portfolio. Can we increase cash flow on it? And the way to do that is by adding additional units to it in a lot of scenarios. So you can look in, if you own 5, 10 properties, you can look at and say 2 or 3 of them are zoned for, or are 2 or 3 of them make sense to add additional units to, and we can add additional units. So let's go through that process and add them now. Another thing that makes sense for ADU development is if you have a lot of equity. There's 2 different methodologies. So the issue with people who own a property, who've owned a property for 20 years or 10 years, whatever, is the ADU regulations weren't allowed at that time when they bought it. So they bought this property and they have a lot of equity. And I notice a lot of people now trying to shove a round peg in a square hole and saying, what can I build on this property? Where the real play in a lot of scenarios is if you know that you're going to have the bandwidth and the wherewithal to actually build ADUs and the mental bandwidth to do it, it may make sense to take that existing equity and put it into another deal. So sell 1031 exchange or something like that into a better deal where you can all of a sudden buy something that's conducive specifically to ADU development and you're inherently going to make significantly more money in the long run because of that. So those are kind of some of the best ways is existing equity or existing portfolios.
Amazing. So what is like that next real big goal for you?
So right now I am in a new phase of my career where several months ago now I started an education and community and mastermind community around real estate development. So I have a course and a entire community to teach people how to do real estate development. And then the second piece of that is the people that maybe aren't the as DIY type people and don't necessarily want to do it, but they want, a partner that can actually take it through full cycle, and they have a good amount of capital where they know they want to do real estate development, but don't want the headaches of the same amount that I've had in the past. I'm able to help all three of those. And so it's just growing that and being able to help as many people as I can understand the process and get assistance and help at whatever level of DIY or hand holding they want.
Yeah, that's big. I love that. So needed.
Appreciate it.
Awesome. So I know a lot of the listeners are either earlier in their journey or they're just looking to level up. And I think they'd benefit from hearing this when it comes to growing your network and creating new relationships. What has made the biggest difference for you?
Yeah, so if you want to grow your network and your relationships in the real estate space, the best thing that you can do is just show up on a regular basis. So I went to so many networking events. I talked to so many people, and I never went with the intention to try and sell somebody something. I've never once handed somebody a business card. I've never owned business cards. And it has made it to where every single thing that I've had has been from networking events. The job that I had leaving the military, the partners I've had, every single opportunity that I feel I've had has started from some sort of connection to a networking event. And that is probably the best way, is just going with the best intention of just talking to other people, learning from them, and just trying to add value to others. You will meet good people. And now I feel like I just go to them to say hi to my buddies and talk to them. And like I said, 99% of the business has been built just from being a good dude and just trying to talk to other people and help out.
Amazing. Yeah, relationships are everything in this space. That's so important.
I agree.
All right. So before we wrap up, if someone wants to reach out, connect with you, maybe collaborate or learn more about what you're doing, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Yeah, best way to reach me is at The Builder Brian on any of the platforms. Pretty much all of them. Pretty active on Instagram is where I'm the most active. But yeah, just reach out, and there's definitely a way that I can help you if you're looking to get into the real estate development or ADU game.
Perfect. Well, listen, I really appreciate your time, story, and perspective. We need more people in this space who are doing things in this right way. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yes, of course. And for those of you tuning in, if you got value from this, make sure you're subscribed. We've got more conversations coming with operators just like Brian, who are out here building real businesses. And we'll see you all on the next episode.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.